Welcome to Contract Review for August. We're glad you're here. I want to tell you this, I brought an assistant to work down on my far left. She's 8 years old and one of my 6 granddaughters. And I was going to bring her brother, but I was advised against that by the parents. And so that was probably a great call. So anyway, I'm Dan Roberts, Chairman of Contract Review, and we're glad you're here. Let's get started with the first one, Archives and History.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members. The Department of Archives and History. I'm Steve Murray, Director of the Archives. The Archives brings to you this afternoon a contract for conservation services on the state Bible. It was pursued through the RFP process, published on the state RFP website.
Purchased in 1851. That's impressive. Any questions? Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Commerce.
Good afternoon. I'm Erica McKay. I'm with the Department of Commerce. We have one contract before you with One Workforce Solutions. It's for $100,000, which is 100% federally funded.
Questions?
Thank
See none. Thank you very much. Conservation.
Nala Cheney for the Department of Conservation.
What you got?
A Goodwood Mills and Kaywood contract. We're asking for an extension, no cost.
This was last RFP 2017. Any idea? I think I know next time it's going to be RFP'd.
I'm not aware, but I can get back with you on that information.
Okay. Yeah, we're starting to track that, as I think you're all aware, just that we're current on RFPing these contracts going out. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Corrections.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you all and your special helper today.
Well, thank you.
I'm Mary Coleman Roberts. I'm here on behalf of the Alabama Department of Corrections, and we are here today with Fluke Electronics Corporation, which is doing business as eMaint Enterprises. It's a $150,000 contract. It's 2 years with 3 optional 1-year extensions. And it is primarily for the electronic storage and maintenance of, electronic storage and management of maintenance-related issues. It has the ability to track work orders. It can take meter readings. It can track warranty info and give us trend reports.
Questions?
Thank you very much.
Tina Hammonds with the Department of Education. We're here with one contract with Alabama Leaders in Educational Technology. This is a $104,250 contract that is partially federally funded, and it's for specialized professional development regarding cybersecurity, infrastructure management, and technology strategy planning.
And this was an educational supplement. The funding of it was,
I believe so, yes, sir.
Augmented by federal.
67% of it will be state funds,
Right.
and the rest will be federally funded.
Okay, questions? Thank you. Environmental management.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I'm Russell Kelly with ADM. The contract before you is a contract to provide a sculpture of an osprey. That's a part of the entrance decor at our new Mobile field office and laboratory, primarily funded with the Restore Act funds. It's meant to tie in the natural beauty there of the bay and the coastline.
I think we've got some questions.
Okay.
Yes,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, sir.
thank you for the recognition. Mr. Kelly, this is $116,700 for a sculpture.
Yes, sir. It's
Wow.
Well, it's stainless steel and it's outside, so it's designed to stand the test of time. It's about not quite 1% of the overall project. It's meant to allow the building to be a little more inviting, a little more environmental, aesthetically.
I'm sorry whoever sent you on this mission today, sir. I'm shocked. I don't know, as good stewards of the taxpayers' money, how in the world we can justify $116,000 sculpture for the front of a building in a place where ospreys are pretty prevalent. You can look up in the sky and see them. You can put up a telephone pole and get a pallet and stick it on top of that. You can have a real live osprey living in your front yard, a whole lot cheaper than $116,700 for a sculpture. Guys, and anybody that's listening, don't do this. Please don't come before us with this kind of stuff. We are here representing the taxpayers. I'm sorry you had to be the one to stand here and present this, but I hope you take the message back.
Yes, sir.
That this is not acceptable. Is there a representative from the governor's office here? Okay. I'm going to put a hold on this contract, and I would like for y'all to consider seriously looking at whether or not this is required. And this is a good use of taxpayers' money. And I'm going to ask a favor, and that is that you let me know what y'all decide. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
We have other members that have concerns, some that couldn't be here that had called in. I share those concerns. So any other comments? So we'll hold that, but
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Examiners of public accounts.
Afternoon. I hope y'all all know who I am, but I'm Rachel Riddle and I work for you. It's a $5,000 contract for CPE's continuing professional education for our whole department, and LSA is going to jump in and be provided this training also.
Sounds worthwhile. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Historical Commission.
Good afternoon. My name is O.V. Jensen, and I'm with the Alabama Historical Commission, and we have one contract, and that is for the annual Alabama Frontier Days program that takes place in November each year.
Where do these funds come from?
They come from admission fees and retail sales that take place in the various sites, the commission sites.
Okay, grateful you guys are in business.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Marriage and Family Therapy Examiners.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. My name is Laura Howell, and I'm counsel for the board. They have one contract for administrative services that went through the RFP process. It is for $42,496.
I've got a question. Under your justification, it says board administration that a merit employee does not possess the needed skills for this. Do we have merit employees that oversee boards and help with other things regularly? Help me understand that, please.
Yes, sir. Well, actually, that's shorthand, really. The board itself has no administrative staff. This is in lieu of all of that. So there are no merit system employees that fulfill these duties on behalf of this board. And so this is in lieu of that.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of where I was trying to go. I thought that would be the case. Any other questions?
Yeah, I've got something, Ms. Howell. Thank you so much. I echo what the chairman said here. So what the justification here is just not accurate. Is that fair to say? I mean,
yes, sir.
Okay.
And that is my fault entirely.
That's okay. Just want to make sure. And then this unique expertise. I mean, there's certainly other folks that do this, right?
Certainly other folks that provide administrative services.
Not quite that unique then. The fee here, the $42,496, and this is going to be something that you'll see in the Sunset Committee come up over and over again. What is that number as a percentage of the total receipts of the board?
I'm sorry. I'm accustomed to litigating things, so I'm trying to call you Your Honor.
Don't do that.
I'm so sorry. So I don't have that information right offhand, and I do apologize. I'm happy to provide it to you.
That's quite all right. Mr. Chairman, if we can, until we get that information, brief hold on that, and then we'll just get that information and we'll go from there, okay? And that is, I think y'all are up in Sunset here coming up pretty shortly. Be prepared. That's going to be information they're looking for as well.
Certainly.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Medicaid.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Nick Hines with the Alabama Medicaid Agency. The agency has 3 contracts before you today. The first contract is with Cognosante LLC. It is the first of 3 renewals under a previously approved contract. It is going to be for this vendor is going to continue to manage, operate, keep up the health information exchange that the agency has.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Next.
The second contract is with Health Tech Solutions LLC. This is in the 3rd and final renewal. It is obviously the last renewal, and the agency is hopeful to have this rebid the first of the year. It's for structure, receiving, and processing lab data.
That was my question on that. So it was last RFP'd May of 19.
Yes, sir.
So this will be Q1 24 is what you're saying?
That should be correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Next.
The final contract that we have before you today is with Capital Bridge LLC. Capital Bridge LLC is going to be a contractor that will assist the agency in taking off and potentially bringing on individuals related to the unwinding from the public health emergency.
How is that going? You got a minute for a quick update?
I don't have the technical knowledge for you, but I do have someone from the agency that could potentially provide that for you. Would you like to hear from them?
And does anybody want to hear that? Yeah. Thank you. You guys have a yeoman's task, and I visited at length right before this started, and just trying to understand, how's it going?
Well, so far, we have actually just started. States were given the option of when they could start. They could start in April, May, or June. We have had some terminations the first couple of months, but the main purpose of this particular contract is that because we've kept so many more people on during the pandemic, we do not have the staff to manage the capacity of renewals. Not only do we have to do a renewal, but if we receive a renewal and we check the eligibility status and we find that they're no longer eligible, we also have to check to see if they're eligible for a different program than the program they were on. So that's why we need this, and please, please help us. So do you have any other questions?
No, I sat with the commissioner at the beginning of this, and we talked through it at length, and it is an incredible yeoman's job to go through our entire Medicaid roll, determine eligibility over a period of time, and then any number of people that have been stuck, unable to come off. And thank you all for being in business. I know it's a hard job, but just keep us posted on progress, please. Just keep me posted is what I ask.
Yes, we will do that. That information will be publicly posted by CMS.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Office of Minority Affairs.
And good afternoon. I'm Stacia Robinson. I'm the director of the Office of Minority Affairs. We have 3 contracts before you. The first one is for doing a public relations plan on behalf, and public relations and communications plan on behalf of our agency. There's a lot of interest in what we're doing, and we are needing to formalize it and strategically plan for it.
I don't know if you've been here at other meetings, but we've talked often about some way to work with the chief procurement officer on coming up with contracts instead of each department going out and contract. We may can find that there are economies of scale working together. And this is a one-year contract. I hope the next time this is up that we've made progress on that. We've met, discussed that, and are looking at what other states are doing, and we think we've found some ways to help make this work more
On behalf
efficiently.
of one agency in the state is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Options to our groups in the state. Yes, ma'am. All right, any other questions? Okay. Next one is Growing Green LLC.
This is one for organizational development. I just got here, as you well know, and this is adding infrastructure to all of what needs to be done and organizational development with the staff and also with all the contractors and the outside initiatives that we have.
One question I've got on that, Jackie Brown, State Personnel Director, have you visited with her at all?
Yes.
Is there
So
any way
I've got my staff on all of that, but all of the other things that relate, again, to strategic planning, working with all of the other initiatives and organizations around the state. We're doing inside and outside organizational development is probably the best way to describe this contract.
Okay. Any other questions?
Just one comment, if I can, Mr. Chairman. I want to make sure what the chairman is saying is getting received. You're new, the agency's new, everything's new. We're just looking for some efficiency as we go forward. Get up and get running, but
yes.
Let's get as efficient.
That's
as
And I can actually say
it's not at all.
It's a macro part of what we hope to see come together. Cooperate and graduate and save is somewhat of what we're thinking there. All right, next one, LL Burge.
And this is a last one on behalf of the HBCU initiatives that we have. We are looking to, with this contract, provide all of the help and to get the internship program up and going. They've got to talk to all of the HBCUs. They got to talk to the business partners. They got to talk to all the agencies. They're going to develop programs and training for the students to get them prepared to go to work. So this is what that contract is for.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much. Public Health.
Good afternoon. I'm Valerie Russell with the Alabama Department of Public Health. I have one new contract in front of you with Radiology Clinic LLC. It's a 100% federally funded contract, and it's to provide interpretation of radiological services for breast screening and detection to facilitate early detection.
All right, this is an alphabet soup, and please hear me. If you have an alphabet soup, take a look at that on page 9.
I looked that up.
Yeah, thank you.
It's
Can you? I was listening intently. Can you say it again?
the Alabama Breast and Cervical Early Detection Program.
I didn't come up with that. I tried several things. Anyway, just outline what these are if you're going to bring alphabet salad on that, please.
What it is it's a program for women who are residents of the state of Alabama between the ages of 40 and 64 years old. They can be screened, well, if their income is so low and they have no insurance or underinsured, then they can get screening for breast cancer. And if they're 65 years or older, then they can and have no insurance or Medicare Part A, then they're also eligible, but they will not be screened as often. It's part of a program called Operation Wipeout Cervical Cancer in Alabama. And it's essentially to facilitate women with certain complaints that maybe lead them to think that they could have breast cancer and other risks for breast cancer, so that they can get these services early on and be tested, and hopefully any early detection will obviously be beneficial to everyone.
No, great program. Totally for it. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Thanks, Valerie.
Thank you.
Secretary of State.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Clay Helms here with the Secretary of State. I have one contract for GIS services statewide. It was RFP'd. There are 50-plus counties in the state that don't currently use GIS for election administration, which is extremely unfortunate. Not only, your large congressional districts, but also state house, state senate, county commission. When you have a new neighborhood that's built, these things, that's why you see counties in the news that have failed to properly district voters. So Secretary Allen wants to make sure we give them what they need to do well.
Okay, any questions?
Just comment if I can. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Who is the gentleman that you have with you?
I picked him up off the street outside. Mike Jones, our general counsel. I'm sure y'all know him well.
No, I know. I'm not sure I recognize that Mike Jones. I know the short hair Mike. I don't know the long hair Mike.
Yeah, he's got the locks growing. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he looks almost like a comic book superhero of some sort.
Yeah.
It looks less stressed.
A lot less stressed.
Very effective, lean and mean. I agree with that, sir. Senator Elliott.
I'm just disappointed. I don't think I can pull that off. And but it does look good, Mike. I commend you on that. It's very nice. Probably. Well, we'll talk later offline. Clay, I'm excited to see this program, and the Secretary undertaking it is very much needed. I know that when I was on the commission in Baldwin County, we worked with Keene on a number of things. You're a good vendor, and I think you'll find working with them is good. But I just want to say to y'all and to Secretary Allen too, y'all are taking this bull by the horns. It's clearly been a problem in the past, and I think you're going to be able to provide some important services that will keep us out of a lot of trouble in the future. So thank you for doing that.
Yes, sir. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Senior Services.
Good afternoon. My name is Ashley Penhale, and I serve as the legal counsel for the Department of Senior Services. Today, we have one contract. It's a contract amendment to extend the length of our contract by 4 months through the end of calendar year 23, and to increase the total amount by $1.8 million.
Okay, I know this was an extension of emergency contract. Thanks for working and getting this back in here. Will this be renewed again?
No, sir. It's out for RFP currently.
Okay. I love to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Transportation.
Clay McBride with Alabama DOT. We've got 6 new contracts for y'all today. They're 80% federal, 20% state match. First 2 are for transportation support services. That's the ones who help design some of our projects.
Clay, just inquiring minds, transportation support services statewide?
Yes.
I think we'd all agree that's broad. Any more specific in this, I think, would help us all. I had some members that aren't here call and wanted to bring that to attention. So what is this for specifically?
Well, this is if we need a set of plans done, for instance. We'll have a list of engineers or architects, whatever the situation is, and they'll go in that region and they'll pick it. And that consulting firm will come in and design the project for them.
Oh, okay. So this is not just specific to one area.
No.
Okay.
No.
So this is.
It's statewide. We can pick them statewide, whoever that area wants to use, that region wants to use. And they, like I said, they could design all kinds of different kinds of plans.
Okay. Any other questions?
Okay. The next one is Arcadis USA. This is for planning, traffic, and safety studies. They do a lot of our studies.
That might be a help to just define that a little bit more, planning, traffic, and safety on the definition and description, okay? Any other questions on Jacobs?
All right, the next one is subsurface utility engineering services. They go out and locate our services, help with design if necessary. This is a new contract also.
Oh, yeah, okay. Anyway, the same comments would go for Acadis also on the bottom of 12. You jumped to 13. So,
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, I did the first two together.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. The next one is for geotechnical services for Morel Engineering. They go out and do geotechnical work for the design.
Here again, all over the state.
Yes.
All right, any questions? Okay.
Okay, the next one is for construction engineering inspection.
Top of page 14.
Yeah, this is Thompson Engineering, and this is for construction engineering inspection. They're the ones that are out there during construction, along with our personnel, to oversee the construction.
I was going to compliment you on that description, being a little more specific and giving details. That
Yeah, that one's for a specific project.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I could ask a question, just so I've got an idea, this is a fairly big CE&I project from where I sit for a bridge. I would assume these are, I'm not familiar with these individual projects. Are they fairly large bridge projects?
They're medium-sized bridges, but it's multiple bridges. This is up on 85.
Okay.
And that's what they're working on.
Do you have the approximate estimate of project cost on these?
I want to say 30 million
Okay.
at least.
Well, again, that lets me do some quick, CE&I math on where we are.
I was thinking it was around 30, but it's been a while, but it's somewhere around there.
That's fine. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, any other questions? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank y'all.
Veterinary medical examiners.
Good afternoon. I'm Olivia Martin. I'm here on behalf of the Vet Board. I am the counsel for the board. We have a one-year renewal of our contract with Dr. Jerome Williams, who runs a nonprofit corporation to provide wellness services to active licensees.
Grateful he's in business.
Yes.
This is critical. My question is this, so how long have we been using just him alone as our sole source?
We had the original contract, then there were 12 renewals, and this is the 13th renewal. So
Okay.
I would say this will be the 14th year.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And again, this is a follow-up question on the sole source. Is he the only one that does this? Is it truly sole source?
He is the only veterinarian that we're aware of. There are other doctors and other health professionals, and perhaps other people of various professions that would provide this service, but he is the only veterinarian that does it. He is, and I guess he has a number of people under his active care, so the continuity is important to the board. I have been in conferences in the United States, and he is training people throughout the nation, other people to do this for veterinarians. So he's a part of the training for that nationwide. So, but I'm not aware of any other veterinarians that provide this service.
Very good, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. And so that you understand, this isn't a question necessarily about Dr. Williams, but it is more about this concept of sole source and making sure that not just y'all, but everybody else looks at whether we're really sole source or not. But thank you for your explanation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Youth services.
Good afternoon. I'm Alan Peaton. I'm representing the Department of Youth Services today. We have one contract before you. It is an amendment to an existing contract with Aho Architects for a replacement roofing project at the Mount Max campus. And this would amend the architect's contract after the bids had been received and they were more than the original estimate. So this $34,000 would be the new rate for the architect's contract.
This isn't the first contract on Mount Meg that prices have gone up on, I hear you.
It is amazing.
It is amazing.
Construction.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is any way we could bring back the contract for marriage and family therapy and have Ms. Austin to explain that from reading this, their group has a unique expertise in helping small board administration. That would explain a little more since the legal counsel was here and she was.
Is she still here now?
I thought
You want Claire to come?
I thought maybe Miss Claire Austin could explain it.
Claire Austin? Welcome to Contract Review.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Claire Austin of the Austin Group. She left to go back because she was looking for the actual budget, and somebody from my office pulled it. This was an RFP, and there were two bidders, and I was the lowest bidder. Our firm was the lowest bidder by $20,000. And so it appears the last budget I saw was of 2021, and it was $71,000. So I'm not sure what their budget was in 22 or 23, but I imagine probably maybe an additional, $4,000 or $5,000, so maybe 76, but I'm not 100% accurate on that.
Mr. Chairman, it seems like that we need to approve this because marriage and family therapy, that's an important aspect of providing services, and I think we need to keep this contract open.
I don't disagree that it's very important. Cinderella, do you have?
Yeah.
He was the one that held it.
I did weighting that number, and Ms. Holston, I'll just tell you that you're likely when you get to sunset, there are going to be some questions. You're more than half of their entire budget.
I haven't not taken this board. I just was awarded this board in a RFP contract. Somebody else currently has it. And like I said, that bid was $20,000 more. I'm $20,000 less than the other bid. So,
unfortunately, that doesn't surprise me, but at the same time, when we have these outside entities, I'm sorry, the Secretary of State's office folks are not here. This is going to be something that you've heard me talk about before, but when we have these private groups that are sucking up the majority of all of the fees that are coming into the board, that's problematic. It's problematic for me. It's problematic for all the other, a lot of other legislators, and it's going to be problematic. You're going to hear about it at sunset. This is going to be a list of questions that they are asking and wanting to know specifically what services you're providing, how many hours, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I asked for the hold so that we could get that information. Ms. Austin's provided that information, and we can move on from there.
So you're good?
Yep.
All right.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So that's approved, not held. Claire, thank you very much for clearing that up. All right, legal services.
Clay Crenshaw with the AG's office. Our first contract is for an expert consultant in our transgender litigation that's set for trial in the Northern District next year. This person will be providing consultant help, expert on legal issues. She's been involved in litigation with similar litigation in other states.
All right. Any questions? Have none. Next.
Our next contract is with a Cumberland law professor, Mike DeBow, who's actually helped us out for the past 15, 20 years in similar type situations, expert in utilities, antitrust, consumer protection, and he'll bill at $150 an hour, $20,000 cap on this contract.
Questions?
Next contract is with Dr. Riley, who will be an expert witness in reapportionment litigation, both lawsuits for congressional districts and also for state legislative districts. trial should be held in those cases probably in 24 at some point.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, hold on. Yes, sir.
I noticed that there were several rates for different contractors, and this one's $500 an hour. How did we end up on for $500?
I can find out for you. I'm sure he's well regarded. Obviously the other side is spending a whole lot more money than we spend, but I'm sure he was evaluated and decided that he was worth that cost.
Oh, and not in terms of what the other side is spending. Just as far as the state is concerned, it's a lot. For generally speaking, especially when we just saw a contractor with $200 per hour, and also you mentioned that. So is this something that the office individually decides or negotiates the rate? Can there potentially ever be a cap on it?
Well, there's a cap on the contract.
I'm talking about for the rate.
Well, no. I mean, I'm sure there can be a common sense cap on the rate. I mean, I know in cases I've handled, we paid an expert $600 an hour. I'm sure there was some kind of an evaluation just to determine whether this person was worth it. But yes, it's our office that looks at this.
So it's an individual determination as to the worth of the potential contractor in terms of how much you pay this person per hour?
Yes, sir. And I'm sure this is what his rate that he charges.
All right. And you also mentioned that you expect this to go to trial in 2024?
Yes, sir. There's a preliminary injunction hearing in a couple of weeks, but there'll be a trial at some point in 24.
Obviously, that's your perspective on that. I mean, it could go up. Supreme Court says we've already decided and we not have a trial.
They could. I mean, it's going up on a preliminary injunction, though, so I don't know that would end things. But you may know more about it than I do, but I don't know how the Supreme Court can end it on an appeal from a preliminary injunction. I think there will still be a trial.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Corrections?
Mary Coleman Roberts here on behalf of the Department of Corrections. We have 3 related contracts this afternoon for legal services. These are for Dr. Rusty Reeves, Dr. Elizabeth Falcon, and Mr. Rick Ramish. These individuals had to be agreed upon by the parties in Braggs and approved by Judge Thompson. They serve as our EMTs, which stands for External Monitoring Team in the Braggs litigation, and they are tasked with basically coming up with auditing tools for Judge Thompson's omnibus remedial order in the Braggs case.
Okay, so I get external monitoring.
Yes.
And it was set because it was moderation, mediation, somewhere both parties agreed on this, so thus the rate was set at 500.
Yes, sir. As you said, the parties had to agree on the individual, so several individuals were vetted, and then their rates were negotiated from there. And unfortunately, they vary, and I realize that it's a nice chunk of change for each of these individuals, but we feel like this is necessary in this case to move forward.
Do we have an idea how much longer? Or is that to be determined?
To be determined. It is still that case that we have appealed the omnibus remedial order. However, the order was not stayed, so we're still responsible for implementing some of these remedial measures while it's up on appeal. But we have not even had oral arguments on appeal yet.
Okay. So the contract's amount, is that a cap or that to be determined also?
That is also, well, it says this is a no-cost renewal, so there's still money remaining on their current contract, so it is capped at that previous amount.
Got it.
If they need additional funds beyond the 280,000, we will come back before this committee.
Got you. All right, any other questions?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, if I may, how much have we spent so far? We know what the cap is. Where are we on these? I mean, sometimes the caps can be deceiving.
Sure. I apologize. I do not have that information before me, but I will be glad to get that to you as soon as I get back to the office. That shouldn't be a heavy lift at all.
Okay, great.
I think we have some outstanding invoices, so I'll have to figure that part out.
Close counts.
Yes, sir.
All right, any other questions? Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I know that Mr. Clay Crenshaw is here to present 2 of our contracts, but if you'll allow me, I'll just save him some steps and save y'all some time.
Okay.
If that works.
You're on page 20?
Yes, sir. That is correct. We have a renewal for Steve Herndon in the William R. Smith versus Jefferson Dunn case. Basically, this is just a renewal for his current services. And I believe that this case, the DAG was necessary in this case due to a conflict of interest. And this is your typical $200,000 2-year contract.
And Mr. Herndon reports to?
He will currently report to Brad Chanowith in the AG's Civil Division, which is, they're listed as the managing attorney now on these cases.
Right. It's a similar situation on the next page as well.
Yes, sir. This one it is also a renewal, but with the added caveat that Bob Northcutt was previously retained due to a conflict in this case, but he has since retired. And so we have passed the representation on to Mr. Sheehan in that same firm.
Okay. Do those report to Lunsford?
They do not. Those report to, again, Mr. Brad Chanowith in the AG Civil Division.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Finance.
I'm Taylor Nichols with the Department of Finance. We have one contract today with Balch and Bingham or Bond Counsel on 4 different series of bonds that we are paying off.
We like hearing that. Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Governor's office.
Good afternoon. My name is Reed Harris with the Governor's Office. I'm here to present a contract for Attorney Christopher Weller to represent the Governor in the matter of the estate of Jonathan James versus Governor Kay Ivey. The maximum amount is $100,000 over a 2-year period. It's brought by the family or the estate of Jonathan James, who was executed last year, and the family says the execution was unconstitutional. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I just don't see dates on our term sheet here.
Let me see. So this, I believe, an emergency contract is in effect now, and to go through 2 years from the governor's signature.
And give me a start date. That's all I'm after.
I see. It was May, I believe. Let me see here.
How about get it to me after this?
I sure will. I apologize.
That would be great. All right. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Human Resources.
I'm Jennifer Bush with the DHR Legal Office, and we have 3 contracts for legal services. The first is with Herndon Law PC. It is a no-cost 2-year renewal.
Questions? Okay, next.
The second is a contract with the Law Office of Laura J. Kirby PC. It is a $70 in court, out of court, and it's to provide general services to our DHR county offices.
Questions? Thank you.
And then the third is Lee Law Firm LLC. It is a no-cost 2-year renewal.
Questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Optometry Board. Okay, thank you.
Optometry.
Optometry. Bueller. Okay, next.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just real quick on this, you see over here in the justification, it talks about contracting for specific legal services is more economical than hiring an additional full-time attorney. Imagine if we had a full-time attorney that could provide these types of legal services to a multitude of boards. Imagine if we had executive directors that could, administrative staff that could provide these types of services to multiple boards, what kind of economies of scale we would get there. So just a thought.
Interesting thoughts. All right, transportation.
We have 2 legal contracts for you. The first one is Mayor Brown. Their on-call legal advice that deals specifically with design build projects, funding, financing, the projects themselves, that kind of thing.
Obviously, they're good.
Yes, they're one of the best in the nation.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Please.
Clay, could I ask what projects we're working with here specifically?
It'll be Mobile River Bridge, West Alabama Highway. Right now, those are the 2 key ones.
Okay. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Any others? Okay.
Okay, the next one was Maynard Nexon, who used to be Maynard Cooper and Gale. They merged. They are dealing directly with Mobile River Bridge, the negotiations, technical provisions, all kinds of things. They've been extremely helpful.
Questions? I'll expect. Thank you very much, Clay.
Thank you.
Will that end? Yes, sir. That ends the meeting today. Thank you very much. We'll be back next Thursday of September. Hope everybody has a safe, great experience until then. Thank you very much. We did, sir.